Okay, so AngularJS. So first of all, AngularJS is a structural framework. AngularJS is a framework, structural framework for dynamic web apps, for dynamic web applications. Okay, dynamic web applications. So jQuery is a structural framework for dynamic web applications, and in this AngularJS, we can use HTML. Okay, HTML as a template language, as a template language. Okay, so this is very important concept. So in AngularJS, we can use HTML as a template language, and so all concepts are important concepts in AngularJS. And extend HTML syntax to express our application's components. Extend HTML syntax. Extend HTML syntax to express your application components clearly. Okay, so in using this feature, we can create our own custom, can create custom attributes, okay, so nothing but directives. Okay, that is directives in AngularJS, directives. Okay, so custom attributes, nothing but directives. Okay, so AngularJS is a structural framework for dynamic applications. We can use HTML, okay, normal HTML language, HTML as a template language. Okay, and extend HTML syntax to express our application components. Like we can create our own custom directives. Custom directives means we can create our own attributes, okay, for HTML elements. So I will explain all these concepts: custom directives and HTML as a template language. Okay, so all these are features. So first of all, we have to know about what is library and what is framework. What is library and what is framework? Okay, so what is library? A collection of functions which are useful when using web applications. A collection of functions which are useful when using web applications. When you are using in web applications. Okay, so that is called library. And framework, a particular implementation of a web application, that is a syntax. A particular implementation of a web application. Okay, so this is framework. So AngularJS features in AngularJS. Features in AngularJS, data binding. So this is one, data binding, and second one, uh, so group of HTML into reusable components. Group of HTML into reusable components. Okay, so then this is called templates. And third one, support for forms and form validations. So AngularJS supports forms and form validations. Support forms and form validations. Okay, so these are the main three important features. And in AngularJS, we can discuss the topics about templates and directives, and model, scope, and filters, and expressions. Filters, expressions, and views, data binding, controller. Okay, controllers, and dependency injection, and modules, and services, and factories. Okay, factory. Okay, and custom directives. Okay, custom directives, and compiler. Okay, so all these are important topics in AngularJS. Okay, we can discuss all these topics. So what is templates? HTML with additional markup. Okay, HTML language. Okay, HTML language with additional markup tags. Okay, additional markup tags, and directives. Extended HTML with custom attributes. Extended attributes HTML with custom attributes, and elements. Okay, so the directs by using directives we can create our own attributes and own elements also. Okay, so we can create our own elements and we can create our own attributes by using directives. That is called custom directives. Okay, you can remove this here. Custom directives. Custom directives and model. The data shown to the user in the view, okay, from the controller. The data shown to the user in the view. In the view is HTML forms. Okay, front end. And with the user interactions. With the user interactions. And scope. So using scope we can call the functions and scope variables from the view. Okay, we can access scope functions and scope variables. Okay, scope variables in controllers and directives. Okay, controllers, directives and services. Okay, and services also. And next, filters. So format of the user output. Filters is format of output. Okay, how we can express data to the user. So that is called filters. For example, how we can show the data to the user. Okay, date, month, year, and month, date, year, month, year, month, date. So like this we can show to the user. Okay, data shown to the user. That is called formats. So there is a number of filters is there, and expressions. So access variables and functions from the scope. Access variables and functions from the scope. Okay, from the scope. And views nothing but user interface. User interface. Okay, and data binding. Data binding means data binding the data between the model and view, like display data between the model and view. Model and view. And next, controllers. So controller is a like a business logic in three-tier architecture. Okay, controller is nothing but controller is mediator. Okay, mediator between mediator between database and user. Okay, database and user. Okay, that is called business logic. Okay, we can write business logic in the controller. You can write business logic. Okay, business logic for the application. Okay, in controllers and dependency injection. So by using dependency injection, we can create objects and functions. We can create objects and functions. Okay, and next, modules. Module is a container for the different parts of our application. Module is a container. Module is a container for the different parts of our application. Okay, different parts of our application. Like by using module, we can create. Using module, we can create controllers and services and factories and directives. Okay, directives with configures the injector. With configures the injector. Okay, and next, services. So this is the reusable module. Okay, services is a reusable module. Reusable modules. Okay, so in services we can write business logic. Okay, business logic for the application and factories. uh, Using using factory, we can create or we can return the like we can create variables. We can create variables and compiler. So passes the template and instances, directives and expressions. Passes the template and instances, directives and expressions. Okay, so all these are important topics in AngularJS, and these are the features, and this is the whatever about AngularJS. So this is the introduction of AngularJS, and okay, so I have prepared the document for AngularJS. Okay, so you didn't find any documentation for, okay, in AngularJS in online. Okay, I have prepared this document. So first of all, what is AngularJS? AngularJS is a structured framework for dynamic web applications, and it lets you use HTML as your template language and lets you extend HTML syntax to express your applications components clearly. Okay, so HTML syntax, extend HTML syntax to express your applications. Okay, and this is like a templates. Okay, we can create templates and we can express the application components. Okay, and these are the features in AngularJS. So AngularJS supports MVC framework. Okay, model view controller. Okay, so if Java.NET is any idea, MVC concept is easy, and declarative user interface and data models. So in examples or in the later topics, we can discuss all about these things. Okay, data models and the custom directives, filters, okay, DOM manipulation, service and factories, and testing. Okay, so first of all, if you want to start with AngularJS, okay, so we can download the AngularJS library from AngularJS.org website. Okay, so like jQuery, okay, compulsory we need to download the library, or we can, okay, or we can copy the CDN file from the AngularJS.org. Okay, so here AngularJS is two versions, AngularJS 1 and AngularJS 2, and we are discussing about AngularJS 1 only. So here download AngularJS. Okay, try the new AngularJS is latest version. So we need this, download AngularJS. So when you click on this button, you can find branch and minified or uncompressed and zip files. Okay, so you can download the files, minified files or uncompressed files, that is production version and development version. Okay, directly you can download zip file, or if you don't want to download the AngularJS library, you can copy this CDN and you can use the AngularJS features. And here after you copy the CDN file, okay, first of all we have to start with module. Okay, so if you want to implement any application using AngularJS, okay, must should start with the module only. Okay, without module you can't do anything. Okay, this is the heart of our application. Okay, heart of AngularJS application. Okay, without this you cannot do anything. So a module is a container for the different parts of your application. Okay. Without module, we cannot create controllers, services, filters, and directives, and many other things in AngularJS. Okay, this is easy to understand and easy to create. And AngularJS apps don't have a main method. Okay, actually in C# or Java, okay, to mm, run the class, we have main method. Okay, like that, we don't have any main method to run the AngularJS application. Instead of main method, we have module in AngularJS. Okay, by using this module, we can run the application. Okay, bootstrap the application. So the directive process is easier to understand, and we can package code as reusable modules. Okay, we can create these modules like a reusable module, and the module can be loaded in any order because modules delay execution. Okay, so anywhere you can create modules, and in any order you can create the controllers and services, filters, directives. Okay, in any order you can create your application. Any order you can implement your application. And unit test is only how to load relevant modules. Okay, unit test is also very easy in AngularJS application. Okay, end-to-end test can use modules to override configuration. Okay, you can test the application, okay, individually. So the most important point is AngularJS prefixes. Okay, so here AngularJS we can use dollar symbol for the private objects, public objects. Okay, single dollar for the public objects, and for private objects double dollar. Okay, so we can see the examples, dollar symbol in for the public objects, and so after complete this module, okay, after that we can extend the application by using directives only. Okay, so we can implement the application by using directives only. Okay, if you create the module, okay, you can create directives by using this module. So AngularJS directives are extended HTML attributes with the prefix ng. Okay, so these directives are start with the prefix is ng. Okay, ng means AngularJS directives. Okay, this is the core collection of directives you would use in your application code to build an AngularJS application. Okay, so without directives and module, okay, we cannot implement the application in AngularJS. Okay, so we have some important directives, okay, to start the application, and to create the minimum application in AngularJS. So first of all, AngularJS ng app directive. Okay, this is the directive to start the AngularJS application. Okay, ng app. Use this directive to auto bootstrap an application. Okay, so this is the directive to start the AngularJS application. Okay, like main method. The ng app directive, okay, designates root element of the application and is typically placed near the root element of the page. Okay, so ng app directive, okay, so we can prefix, we can arrange this ng app directive in body section or HTML tags. Okay, so we can typically place near the root element of the page like body or HTML. The ng app attribute represents an AngularJS directive, and this directive is used to flag the HTML element that AngularJS should consider to be the root element of our application. Okay. So first of all, small example how we can create this directive. Okay, how we can start with AngularJS application. So first of all, create one HTML form. Like how we can create ng app. Okay, where we can create the directive. Okay, this ng app directive, we can use this directive in body tag or HTML tag. So first of all, we have to copy this CDN and paste here, script source equal to, okay, and after that we can use ng app directive. Okay, ng app directive here. Okay, in HTML tag we can use ng app like this. Okay, this is the directive. Okay, this is called extend HTML syntax. Okay, okay, so template language, and lets you extend HTML syntax to express our applications components clearly. And also like okay, so this is ng app, and so this is the usage of auto boost of an application. Okay, to start the AngularJS application, so this is very important, ng app directive. And the next directive is ng controller. So this is the mediator between database and the user. Okay, so we can write business logic in controllers, like database interactions, and read the data from the database. Okay, and to call the services, and this is the important one to do all these things. And ng control directive attaches a controller class to the view. Ng control directives defines the application controller. Okay, application controller. Okay, so ng app directive you can use here or in body section. Okay, anywhere we can use. So in maximum real-time applications, ng app directive used in HTML tag only. Okay, so because all this code in this application only. Okay, total languages application is in HTML tag. Okay, because real-time applications are using ng app here. And controller, we can use controller here. Okay, ng controller. Okay, so next so this is the application, this is the AngularJS controller. Okay, so we have to implement this AngularJS application and ng controller. And the next directory is model, ng model. The ng model directive binds the value of HTML controls like user inputs. Okay, bind the user inputs. Okay, ng model directive binds the user inputs and pass the data to the controllers and save the data into the database, like just like variables. Okay, models is just like variables. So for example, just we can remove this. Okay, model controller. For example, input type equal to text box. Mm, ng model equal to name. Okay, so this is the scope variable. Name is the scope variable. Okay, model ng model is the directive. Okay, to hold the text box value into this variable. Okay, and the next directive is ng bind directive. For example, you want to bind the data. Okay, text box data, text box value into the paragraph or span. Okay, you want to bind the text box value into the span or paragraph. Next we can use ng bind directive equal to name. Okay, so this ng model directive holds the text box value in name variable and bind that variable into this span, so that what you type in text box, that value is displayed in span. Okay, so run this example. Okay, for example, AngularJS, this is not coming. Okay, one error is there. Failed to load resource. It's not error. Okay, here ng bind directive. Okay, not mg. Okay, AngularJS. Okay, so you when you type here in this text box, that value is bind to the name variable, and again we are binding that variable to the span. Okay, so that ng model directive, okay, binds the value of the HTML element, binds the value of HTML element. ng model directive binds the value of HTML control and hold that data into the variable. And ng bind directive binds the value of HTML controls. Okay, Angular to replace the text content of the specified HTML element with the value. Okay, bind the value from the HTML element. Okay, so this is the simple example and how we can create AngularJS application directive, and how we can use ng model directive and ng bind directive. So for example, next ng click directive. So for example, you want to display, okay, you want to display and you want to bind the data, okay, from the database, like you want to bind the value from the controller. Okay, so how we can use the click events in AngularJS? Okay, so ng click directive, just like on click in AngularJS, okay, click event in jQuery. Okay, this will works like on click in JavaScript. Okay, ng click directive allows you to specify custom behavior when element is clicked. So for example, input type equal to button and value equal to click. Okay, and close this. So here you want to bind the value, okay, from the controller. Okay, how we can implement modules. Okay, for first class, the first I explained this. Okay, without module we cannot create the controllers and we cannot create services and filters, all these things in AngularJS. Okay, so we have to create the module for the application. In script tag, use var keyword and my app equal to angular dot module. Okay, angular dot module. Okay, so this is the creation of AngularJS module. Okay, this is the module. This is the creation of module. In this module, angular dot module, and in the double quotes, okay, we have to give the AngularJS application name. Here we have to specify the name, okay, for the application. My app. Okay, my app is the application name, AngularJS name. So use this name in this double quotes. Okay, so that we are creating the module. Okay, this is the module. We are creating the module for this entire application. Okay, by using this module we can create controllers for this application, and we can create control directives for this application and services for this application. And you want to display, okay, you want to run the run the event and to display value in text box. Okay, you want to display value in text box. Ng controller equal to my controller. Okay, we have to give the controller name also, okay, to implement the controllers in AngularJS. Okay, my app dot controller. Okay, now we are implementing the controllers. Okay, just initialize the controller here, and here we are implementing the controller. Okay, my controller comma function. Okay, just like jQuery. And here in this function we have to use scope. Okay, so this is public variable. Okay, already I explained this. Angular prefixes names of public objects. Okay, names of public objects with a single dollar, and the names of private objects start with a double dollar. So that this is the public variable. So using this scope variable, scope, we can access scope variables and scope functions in the view. Okay, so all these are view. Okay, so we can access scope variables and scope functions, okay, into this controller from the view. So this is the scope variable. So when you click on this button, we need to execute some function, okay, to display the text in this text box. For this we can use ng click equal to my function. Okay, and next scope dot my function equal to, okay, my function. Okay, so like this, and again scope dot name equal to, this is first AngularJS class. Okay, so when you click on this button, okay, this text is applied, okay, displayed in this text box. Okay, so this is the variable. We are assigning this content to this variable, and this variable is displayed in this variable data displayed in text box. Okay, click. So this is first class, okay, first AngularJS class. Okay, so this text is displayed in text box from the controller. Okay, when you click on this button, this function is executed, okay, by using scope. The scope is the public variable to access the scope variables and the scope functions. Okay, so we call this function name here. Okay, so when you click on this button, the text is displayed in text box, okay, from here. So this is the controller, okay, to write the logic of the application. And next, DBL click event. ngDBL click nothing but on double click in JavaScript. Okay, on click event, on double click event in JavaScript, like ngDBL click. Double click directive allows you to specify custom behavior and a double click event. So for example, we can use here ngDBL click. Okay, ngDBL click. So when you double click on this button, the text content is displayed in text box. Okay, for single click, data not displayed. Okay, when you double click on this, the text is displayed in text box. Okay, so this is the double click event. Yeah, I will send. Okay, so for example, next directive is ng repeat directive. So ng repeat directive nothing but a for loop. Okay, nothing but a for loop. in Java and C Sharp. So ng repeat directive repeats the HTML elements. For example, you want to display 100 records of data from the database, okay, in the table format. Okay, how we can read it, how we can retrieve the data, and how we can read the data. Okay, so for this we can use ng repeat directive to read the records. Okay, so every time one record is read from the collection and displayed, and the directive instantiates a template once per item from a collection. Okay, so every time one record is read and displayed. Okay, every time from the collection, each template instance gets its own scope. Okay, for each template one scope is created. Okay, so where the given loop variable is set to the current collection item. Okay, after complete the data reading from database, the loop is complete and display display the result. So for example, so here object variable is there. Okay, scope dot names. Okay, so here two employees name information is there. Okay, first name and last name, first name, last name. Okay, so these are the two employees information. So when you click on this button, you want to display these two employees information in table format. TBL and TR, TD, first name, last name. Okay, so these are the header columns, headers, and next TR, TD. Okay, to bind the value from the controller, we can use ng bind directive. Okay, so before you write this, okay, we have to use ng repeat directive. Ng repeat equal to ng repeat equal to name in names. Okay, so just like for each loop in AngularJS, for each loop in Java and C Sharp. So every time one record is displayed in table format. Name dot fname and td ng bind equal to name dot last name. Okay, so when you click on this button, this function is executed under this data object. Okay, object type variable is there. In this object type variable, we have two employees information. Okay, so this is first employee information, this is second employee information. So now when you click on this button, my function is executed and display this upload. Actually, first of all, store the employees names into names variable and apply this names variable in here. Okay, repeat ng repeat directive. So every time one record is retrieved from the collection and displayed in table format. Okay, so click on this, data is not coming. and there is no errors also. Name dot f name. F name, L name. My controller. Okay, so we have given the controller, my controller, and the scope, my function. Okay, so this is double click event, right? Click on this. Okay, test name 1 and test name 2. Two employees information is displayed in table format. Okay, so this is the introduction of AngularJS.